Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Sumner County Sports Show, powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream. That fresh treat, fresh homemade ice cream made daily, never deep frozen, 150 different flavors rotated daily, including vegan ice cream made with oat milk, including 14 flavors. They've got fresh baked waffle cones as well. And if you haven't heard, they are now open in Hendersonville. So I suggest you get on over there as quickly as you can to get a sweet treat from a brand that continues to set high standards. Again, no sugar added, fat-free options as well. They also offer Italian ices, sherbets, and fresh fruit sorbets. There is something for everyone. Enjoy a delicious treat with your fresh waffle cone located in the Lowe's parking lot next to Zaxby's in Hendersonville. Stop by and get you a scoop above the rest from a brand that continues to set high standards at 350 West Main Street, and tell them Womble sent you. All right, a big show to get into today, a fun episode to get into today. I was making show notes last night and this morning. There's a lot of good things to get into. First, though, quick weather report. It's nasty out there today. You can see that I'm not in the studio. I think Justin said it best off camera when I woke up this morning. I don't know, when I went outside sometime in the 6 o'clock hour. It might have been before 6:30, but my wife and I vehicle with nothing but just a big block of ice. And so I think everything was kind of delayed this morning. And so it's kind of been a weird day. It says 12:30 right now, and it doesn't feel like 12:30 in the afternoon. It feels maybe earlier, or I don't know, but kind of ugly outside, but hopefully it'll turn for the better here in the next week or so. All right, as I told you, there's a lot to get into as far as Sumner County hoops is concerned. We've got like three. Well, I say we, but there's a couple districts, District 10-4A, that still has 3 regular season games left for teams. You've got a district like Portland, White House, Liberty Creek are in 9-3A, where they've got 3, maybe 4 games where you have a makeup from yesterday's ice. And then I believe Portland and Montgomery Central are still set to play from earlier this year as well. That might have gotten postponed. So for every kind of team, it differentiates. Merrill Hyde, I believe they're done with their district schedule. They're actually waiting to start their district tournament. So whatever school you root for, it's different among everybody else in the county. But just kind of looking at the big district, which is 10-4A, Station Camp Beach, Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hunters Lane and Hendersonville, or Hunters Lane and McGavock, of course. The thing about this district, more so on the boys and the girls, is you just never know who's going to win. I mean, this district from top to bottom, well, 1 through 4, no disrespect to Hunters Lane or McGavock, because, they compete hard as well. But 1 through 4 on the boys' side, I mean, you just never know who's going to win. It's so evenly matched. And, coaches preseason were saying the same thing on this show. They've said the same thing, that how night in and night out, the district is a grind. And so they continue that this week. Station Camp boys went on the road and got 2 huge wins this week. A Beach at home on Friday, and then at Gallatin on Tuesday night. They were one of the few schools that still played. I know there were several Middle Tennessee teams that kind of canceled because of the weather, but Station Camp going on the road last night on the boys, defeating Gallatin. They're now 6-1 in league play, and Hendersonville, who is 5-2, you don't know how it's going to shake out, because if you look at the schedule, if you look at Station Camp, they've got Hunters Lane and McGavock over the next 2. You think, based on previous history, based on standings, Station Camp probably stands a really good chance to win those games. So there they are at 8-1. Hendersonville, on the other hand, has a little bit harder road. They have Gallatin sandwiched in between by the time they play Station Camp the last week of the season. So this all could be moot. It could all be a moot point if Hendersonville loses to Gallatin. But say Hendersonville beats Gallatin next Tuesday, they set up what would be a district regular season championship with the Bison, because the only loss that Station Camp has this year is to that Hendersonville team. So it's going to be a fun race. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. But the district tournament, it's going to be fun. And no matter who goes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, honestly, you want to be that 1 seed so that you can get that bye. Go ahead and book an automatic bid to the region tournament. Because if you're 2 through 6, that really could go any which way. And so that race for the number 1 seed is very important. Beach, they're still in it as well. Gallatin, technically still in it as well, but it's going to be really tough. They're going to need some upsets along the way from Hunters Lane and McGavick, and I just don't know if I see that happen. So, and then moving on the girls' side, you basically got you have technically a 3-team race for first. You have Gallatin, Beach, and Hendersonville, but technically, I think it's a 2-team race. Between Beach and Gallatin, because Beach and Gallatin both 6-1. Gallatin coming off a win last night over Station Camp. Beach coming off a big win over Hendersonville. Those two teams split this year. So, like I said, Beach holds the head-to-head right now over Gallatin, with Beach getting the win on the road at Gallatin a couple weeks ago. But Gallatin 21-3. They're rolling right now, and they got a big win last night over Station Camp, and Maggie Hill was big. I think she scored 19 points in that win for Gallatin. And so, I noticed some things out there, and, they showed up for that game. No doubt about that. And, so again, Gallatin's going to have to go on the road and beat Beach if they want that regular season title. But if not, Beach wins out. It's theirs for the second year in a row. And then we just wait and see how the district tournament plays out. Maybe it plays out the same way it did last year. Maybe it's vice versa. Who knows? But it's going to be a fun final 3 weeks of the regular season in District 10 4A. That I know. Moving on to District 9 3A, again, we don't want to forget about Portland, Liberty Creek, White House. Again, depending on each team's schedule, whether they played last night. Like I know Greenbrier and Creekwood didn't play last night because of the snowstorm. I know, like I said, Portland, Montgomery Central didn't play a couple weeks ago. So that district, there's a lot still kind of to be determined. There's like 4 games left for certain teams. And right now, you've got a 3-way tie on the boys' side for first place at 5-2 between Creekwood, Greenbrier, and Portland. So there's a lot to shake out on the boys' side, and I'm very anxious to see how that plays out. And on the girls' side, it's a little bit more lopsided. Creekwood has kind of run away with the district. They're 21-3 overall. They're 7-0. Followed, of course, by Greenbrier at 4-3, Liberty Creek at 4-4, White House at 3-3. Portland at 2-5, and then Montgomery Central at 0-5. And so, again, a lot of games to be played out. I know this on February 3rd, you got Creekwood at Liberty Creek, going to be a huge game. Can Liberty Creek, can Creekwood, their first loss of the regular season? You've got Greenbrier at White House, Portland versus Montgomery Central, and then Greenbrier at White House. And then the next week, you've got Creekwood, White House, Greenbrier, Portland, and Liberty Creek, Montgomery Central. So, you would think by the time February 7th rolls around, we're going to have a better idea of how District 9 3A, at least the regular season, shakes out. And then Division II AA, which is obviously only one school here in Sumner County, Pope Prep. The boys are in 6th place. The girls are in 7th place. They've got 3 games left between the two of them. Or excuse me, they got 4 games left. The boys have Brentwood Academy at CPA, MBA, and Innsworth. And then, of course, the girls play all those games and then add Harpeth Hall as well because of MBA not being an all-boys school. So it should be a final fun week of the regular season. I know I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. And, again, it's going to be a fun district season. And, we'll just kind of see how it shakes out. All right, Justin, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to hit on some big topics this week. We got National Signing Day today, which, side note, does it even feel like National Signing Day? We'll get into that a little bit later. We're going to do Players of the Week. We got Big Orange Minute, so a lot to look forward to. Don't go anywhere. This is the Sumner County Sports Show, powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Brewster's Real Ice Cream features fresh homemade ice cream made right in our store each day. Offering 150 different flavors rotated daily, we offer a full line of vegan ice cream made with oat milk and no sugar added fat-free options. We also offer Italian ices, sherbets, and fresh fruit sorbets. There is something for everyone. Enjoy your delicious treat with a fresh baked waffle cone located in the Lowe's parking lot next to Zaxby's in Hendersonville.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd. The goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Don't miss a minute of the action this season. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seats today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Back just like that here on the Sumner County Sports Show, powered, of course, by Brewster's Real Ice Cream. I'm going to talk about them again. They're fresh, homemade ice cream made daily right in the store. They've got fresh waffle cones, over 150 different flavors. And guess what? They're open right now for you to go get that sweet treat. I know it's cold out today, but and maybe I'm a little weird, but I kind of like ice cream on cold days. Obviously, it's really good on a hot day, but on a cold day, I think ice cream is underrated. But that could just be me. Anyway, all right. We move on, Justin, to today's topics, which, again, we got a lot to get into. National Signing Day. I kind of hinted at this before the break, but, it really doesn't feel like National Signing Day to me. With all of how college football kind of plays out now, you have the early signing period, and then you have this signing period. And it just feels like all the big-name athletes, they sign early. Of course, there's some big name athletes that wait until February to sign. But for the most part, you've got all your big name athletes that want to enroll early to their colleges. And I feel like he's just kind of taken away the luster of National Signing Day in February for me. I mean, I can remember being in high school, being in college, and, turning on TV and National Signing Day just being a huge spectacle on ESPNU. And it was just all day coverage and, this, that, and the other. And it just feels like we've kind of, taking a step back from that a little bit. And like I said, I know there's still coverage out there and, everybody has it and it's accessible, but I don't know. I just feel like National Signing Day has kind of lost its luster a little bit in February because of the early signing day. And, I don't really know what the solution is. I'm not saying, get rid of one for the other, because obviously you need to have both, but for the kids who can't sign early, but, I know I'm presenting a problem with no solution, but that's just kind of where it is today. But, National Signing Day. That said, if you head on over to MainStreetPreps.com, you'll see a laundry list of athletes from the Middle Tennessee region that are signing today. I believe there's like 5 or 6 kids from Pope Prep on the list as well, from football, men's and women's lacrosse, and so on. And so, again, MainStreetPreps.com has that full list that you can check out of National Signing Day stuff. I know a couple schools actually postponed their ceremonies today because of the ice on the road and the weather conditions. So I know several schools are just going to hold their signing ceremonies tomorrow. But nevertheless, National Signing Day, and no matter how I feel about it, no matter if it's just as fulfilling in February as it is in December, it's still a congratulations, still a great time, great period for all these student athletes who ink to go to the next level. So again, if you want to see all the lists for Middle Tennessee athletes signing to the next level, head on over to MainStreetPreps.com and you can see that list compiled by the Main Street Preps sports staff. All right, Justin, one thing I wanted to talk to you about today, just because it's huge news, and it feels like it's the official end of an era. But Tom Brady retired today. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you've all seen it, especially you, Justin. But, any thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on Tom Brady retiring and essentially, ending an era of quarterbacks like Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady? I mean, any thoughts on that?
Well, I just think it's one of those things where I think we'll get the same thing when LeBron retires. Is it's hard to appreciate when it's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like once we get through a couple years or maybe even 10, honestly, like of just figuring out that, whoa, wait, that was the best we've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like that's then it's gonna hit. So no real thoughts initially. I don't think I think he's going to come back again. Like I
You
just
do?
don't see him. I don't see him like turning down an offer from the Raiders or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if they seek him out or if they woo him correctly. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a loss for football fans everywhere. Definitely because he is the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. I mean, and listen, I mean, it's a tough situation. It's a tough conversation to have. Pretty much anywhere outside of like the Northeast. Well, actually, it's a tough conversation to have in the South because of
Right.
the high regard that people hold for Peyton Manning, and rightfully so. Peyton Manning
How
was
many
a great,
battles they had? Yeah.
great quarterback. I mean, I'll hit on him in a minute, but I mean, this day in sports history, in a certain year belongs to Peyton Manning, and we'll get to that. And he most definitely deserves a seat at the table in terms of some of the greatest players who have ever played. But I think if you really just dial it back a little bit, and I think you could probably make the same argument for LeBron over MJ,
Right.
and not to compare MJ to Peyton Manning, but just comparing two giants in their respective sports, right?
Right.
I think, if you just kind of look at it for what it is, 7 Super Bowls. I mean, goodness gracious. I know
Yeah.
he had great teams. I know, or he had great defenses and great special teams and things of that nature. But I remember years when he was throwing to guys who you never even heard of.
Right.
They were begging them to get a big name receiver. They go out and they finally get Randy Moss, and they have that spectacular season. Ultimately ends with a loss to the Giants, which I'll be honest with you, I was happy to see them lose that game because
Right.
at that time I didn't appreciate the journey. I didn't
Of course.
appreciate Tom Brady and what I was actually watching. It's much like the Kobe Bryant thing for
Right.
me, where I just didn't appreciate him the first 10 years he was in the league or whatever it was.
Right.
And then eventually I said to myself, one of these days he's not going to lace him up. He's not going to get on the basketball court again. I just need to appreciate all the great things that he's doing. And I think that's, I think probably about the time it was maybe 8 years ago, because I just saw a clip today, 8 years ago today, the Seahawks, the Patriots defeated the Seahawks on that Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line. Maybe it was then. Maybe it was seeing him win a Super Bowl that he shouldn't have won and just being like, wow, like maybe this guy's just destined for something great. I don't really know, but at some point I stopped hating. And so for him to now retire today and kind of close the book on quarterbacks that I grew up watching is a little bit of a sad day, Justin.
For sure. I agree. It kind of started with Ben Roethlisberger when he kind of went into retirement. But I had someone tell me or gave me this scenario, which I thought was interesting. It's like, if you didn't know anything about football, if you never watched NFL, you were into soccer or whatever it is, and I put down on paper, like, this guy's stats compared to the league or whoever's been in the league ever. Like, what would you say? Would you say he's the greatest? I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's hard to deny. But I will put a feather in Peyton Manning's cap at the end of this show related back to this topic. I promise you that for all you Peyton Manning fans out there. Listen, I'm wearing a Tennessee hoodie, so I mean I get it. But I think I have a different view of Peyton Manning because the Peyton Manning I know was the guy who terrorized the Tennessee Titans for 15 years or whatever it was. So,
right, exactly.
It's a little bit different, but nevertheless, again, congratulations to Tom Brady on a spectacular career. From one GOAT to the other, Justin, LeBron masterclass last night. I don't know if you saw it, but another triple-double, this time in the Garden, and I had a feeling that he was going to go off. I mean, playing in the Garden, he knows what that place is to basketball, and so another triple-double for him. But in the process of that game, now only 89 points away from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the number 1 scoring list, and then he secured the number 4 spot for most assists in a career as well. Not bad for a guy, a pass first guy, and a non-scorer, right, Justin?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he's incredible. It's insane. Was he 38 now?
Yeah, 38. So you're 20 in the league. I mean, since I was 13 years old, I've been watching that guy play basketball, and it's honestly, the consistency has been amazing. But I was looking at the schedule, and 89 points is not a lot for him, right? He could, in theory, get that in 2 games, Justin. And I was looking at his schedule, and I kind of have a different – I don't really know what to think of when he could do it, but here it is. So he's got Indiana. At Indiana, he won't score 89 points at Indiana. That I can pretty much guarantee.
Right.
And then they're at New Orleans, which I could see him sitting that game out, but then again, against Zion Williamson, the new proposed face of the league, he kind of maybe wants to establish his dominance.
Right.
Maybe he gets it there, but then they come home against OKC. Maybe he sits out that game because guess what the next 2 games are, Justin?
What's that?
National television. He's got Milwaukee at home on TNT on February 9th. Does he want to break it against Giannis, or does he want to break it 2 days later on Sunday, February 11th on ABC at Golden State?
Ooh, he's playing both those for sure, I bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder does Giannis guard? I guess he wouldn't guard him.
Oh, I mean, I think he would definitely.
I think
it's one of those things, man. It's like, if you're the best player on the floor, and then if you got 2 great players on the floor and one's going off, you have to be, as a great player, you have to be like, yo, that's my man. I'm checking him.
Absolutely.
I have to check him. So
Kobe, that's what he would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. To answer your question, I definitely think he's going to end up guarding LeBron. But again, I mean, 89 points. Maybe he drops 27 in Indiana. Maybe he drops another 20 in New Orleans, 25 in New Orleans, and then maybe another 25 against OKC, and then boom, sets up perfectly at home in the Staples Center against Milwaukee on TNT on February 9th. But
I could see him having like a 25 piece, one of those, and then 2 40s.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be fun. I suggest you get to a television if you're a basketball fan. But if you're not a basketball fan, I suggest you watch it anyway because it's going to be history and you may never see something like that ever again. So it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Justin, let's jump to our final break. But when we come back, we'll hand out our players of the week. We'll also talk a little bit about our Big Orange Minute, and maybe we'll get into a little Super Bowl talk as well. So don't go anywhere. This is the Sumner County Sports Show powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd. The goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Don't miss a minute of the action this season. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seats today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Brewster's Real Ice Cream features fresh homemade ice cream made right in our store each day. Offering 150 different flavors rotated daily, we offer a full line of vegan ice cream made with oat milk and no sugar added fat-free options. We also offer Italian ices, sherbets, and fresh fruit sorbets. There is something for everyone. Enjoy your delicious treat with a fresh baked waffle cone located in the Lowe's parking lot next to Zaxby's in Hendersonville.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sumner County Sports Show powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream. It's been a fun episode today. We've talked high school hoops, we've talked the legacy, we've talked Tom Brady retirement, and so much more. But now it is time for the most important part of the show, and that is our players of the week. We've got 2 this week, one boy, one girl, Justin. So if you want to throw them up, I'll talk about the player, whoever you throw it first. That is, of course, Beach High School senior Riley Long. She scored a team-high 21 points for the Lady Bucks in their 62-63 win at Station Camp on January 27th. She was obviously awesome. She's my player of the week for a reason. But also Lauren O'Neill, want to give a shout-out to her. She hit the game-winning basket for the 62-60 win for the Lady Bucks on Friday. Beach then bounced back last night, defeated Hendersonville, got some revenge for their loss earlier this year at Hendersonville. They're now 6-1 in league play, and they honestly control their destiny for a District 10-4A regular season title. And then our other player of the week from the same game on the boys' side, that is Ty Thurston, Station Camp sophomore, scored a team-high 15 points in their 54-53 win over Beach on January 27th. A great basketball game that fans, it was a packed-out gym for, and fans definitely got their money's worth. So, again, congratulations to Riley Long, Ty Thurston. Station Camp also capped off a 2-0 week on Tuesday with a win at Gallatin. So, again, they're also at the top of their standings at 6-1 and a district tournament or a district regular season title as well. All right, Justin, let's hit our Big Orange Minute, and then I don't know if let's just hit our Big Orange Minute, and then we'll go from there. Big Orange Minute started, of course, with the UT men's basketball team 3-0 since the last time I talked to you, defeating LSU, Georgia, and Texas. They've got Florida on the road today, Auburn on Saturday, Bruce Pearl coming back home, and then at Vandy next Wednesday. It's always fun trying to win at the Puzzle Factory, so that's going to be a good week ahead. Josiah Jordan-James was awesome in their win at LSU, 22 points, 7 rebounds. Zakai Ziegler continues to be impressive, continues to make the argument he could be one of the best guards in Tennessee history. He finished with 12 points, 10 assists against LSU. He finished with 22 and 10 against Texas. And so the Vols kind of rolling at this point, projected number 1 seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament. So I'm super excited to see how that plays out. Of course, everybody will be picking against them because of Rick Barnes' history. But you know what? I've decided to just put it all aside and enjoy everything for the moment for what it is. Because while I am a known hater of Rick Barnes, I do also recognize the grass is not greener. On the other side, there's likely not a better coach out there that could get Tennessee to the heights that Rick Barnes has gotten them consistently year in and year out. So just trying to appreciate Rick Barnes for all that he does before it is too late. And then on the women's side, tough week to be a Lady Vols fan. Kelly Jo Harper and the Lady Vols 0-2. Thought they were going to have a chance against UConn after the first half, but UConn kind of stepped on the gas in the second half, was able to pull away. And then the Lady Vols showed well on the road at number 3 LSU, but still dropped it by 8. They've got to get back on the winning side of things. They go through a tour of Mississippi this week with Ole Miss and Mississippi State Bulldogs, and then they've got Vandy as well. So they really need to start stacking some wins, stacking some confidence as we get ready to get into this tournament, as well as the NCAA tournament. And then on the diamond, 16 days until UT baseball. They open up with Arizona, GCU, UC San Diego in Scottsdale, Arizona for the Classic. Welcoming back 3 incredible pitchers, including National Pitcher of the Year Chase Dollander, National Freshman of the Year Chase Burns, and SEC Pitcher of the Year in Drew Beam. They've got 2 transfers this year, one from Alabama, Middle Tennessee's Zane Denton, who's going to play third base. And I really hope I'm saying his name correctly, but from Kansas, shortstop Maui Ahuna looked to be really good for the Jayhawks. So hopefully Tony Vitello and the boys in orange will have another successful year this year on the Hill. Hopefully it ends with a big dog pile in Omaha, but nevertheless, going to try to enjoy the road no matter where it takes us. And then, all right, Justin, let's close out the week with this. Let's do this day in entertainment, or this day in history. I told you I would put a feather in the cap for Peyton Manning, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. For all the talk about Tom Brady being the GOAT, and he arguably is, he definitely is, this day in 2014, Peyton Manning becomes the all-time record holder for most MVPs in his career. He's got 5. And so that right there, most valuable player of the National Football League, year in and year out, 5 times. Nobody has done that. And so there is a feather in the cap for Peyton Manning. This day also, 2014, Adam Silver becomes an NBA commissioner. This day, 2006, Epiphany Prince scores a USA girls prep record 113 points in 137-132 win, beating Cheryl Miller, Reggie Miller's sister, old record of 105 points in a game. And then this day, 1995, John Stockton passes Magic Johnson for most assists in a career. Winners of the weekend, I kind of want to go conspiracy theorist because of the way things played out, but I'm kind of joking a little bit. But winner this weekend, Pat Mahomes, for everything that he went through with the high ankle sprain, coming back and showing that he is still the best quarterback in the National Football League. Loser of the weekend, though, had to be the officiating across all sports, NBA, college basketball, the NFL. It's a bad look. There's a lot of people out there saying that sports are rigged, and, they believe what they want to believe, right? There's conspiracy theorists out there for a reason. I don't necessarily believe they're rigged. I know I joke all the time about social media, how it's scripted, but I definitely think officials can influence the outcome of games, and I think that happens way too often for us to kind of turn a blind eye to that there may not be any funny business going on in professional sports. But anyways, that right there has been this week's episode of the Sumner County Sports Show. It's been a ton of fun. I've had fun talking to you about high school hoops. We've talked LeBron Masterclass. We've talked Tom Brady, Peyton Manning legacy, that sort of thing. We handed out Player of the Week. So congratulations again to Riley Long out of Beach High School, Ty Thurston from Station Camp. This is the Sumner County Sports Show powered by Brewster's Real Ice Cream. We'll see you next time.